Yes, what is up everyone, and thank you for the support these last few weeks as we have ramped up the amount of content for your viewing pleasure. It means a lot to me and Mike K and Mikko and everybody else behind the scenes that makes this go. So keep hitting that like and subscribe button because we all know you want more of the good stuff. And by hitting that button, it lets us know that you want more of the good stuff, and then we'll make more of the good stuff, and then everybody's happy. Also, I'm gonna be in New York City this week for the US-Mexico game, which is tomorrow or Friday or whenever you're watching this. And I'm doing a pickup game this Saturday from 12 to 2 p.m. at Corlears Hook Park in the Lower East Side in Manhattan. So come hang out and be on my team so we can beat some fools and dominate everybody. And speaking of US versus Mexico, it's our first matchup in the international edition of previews and predictions today, which for all of you counting at home is the 100th episode of previews and predictions. Yes, baby, we did it. Time to do a victory lap. And actually, while I'm doing this victory lap, why don't we roll the clip?
Lennon sends it in, the header, and it's into the back of the net. The United States strikes, and it's Jimmy Conrad.
Oh yeah. Actually, I'm glad I brought up victory laps because I got to name the winners of the Warm Baller stickers from last weekend who correctly predicted the score for Juventus versus Napoli. And actually, there was just one of you that correctly predicted it. I mean, it was 4-3, so I got to give it up to you. There was only one of you out of 450 comments or something, and it was Mark Mafori. Yes, congratulations, Mark. Be on the lookout for my response to your correct prediction, and then we'll take it from there. So you can get your stickers. But there were a lot of you that said 4-2. You guys were so close, but not good enough. But what doesn't hurt is me correctly predicting the right score for the North London derby. I said 2-2 Arsenal versus Tottenham, and it ended 2-2. Prediction God status continues to be confirmed. Anyway, let's get to the US-Mexico game because this is the first time that these two have met since the Gold Cup final back in July, which Mexico won, by the way, and which makes me want to say, no mames way! But we will get our revenge. Nuestra revancha! Maybe. And I say maybe because Mexico didn't have all their top players for that Gold Cup final, and this time they're bringing pretty much everyone. Yeah, I'm talking Chucky Lozano, Chicharito, Hector Herrera. Yeah, these guys are big-time players, and they're going to be in attendance, and I expect them to be in Mexico's starting 11. But guess what? The U.S. is going to look different and most likely better too. We had Hertha Berlin's John Anthony Brooks back in at center back now that he's healthy, and two of our U20 World Cup breakout stars, like 18-year-old fullback Serginho Dest, who is currently getting minutes for Ajax's first team, which is very impressive, and the captain of the U20s and talented FC Dallas midfielder Paxton Pomykal, who I would love to see start and have players like Christian Pulisic and Weston McKennie around him. So yes, even though Mexico's team feels a little bit more settled, which gives them more of an identity as a group, something that I think the US team is still trying to find under a relatively new manager and one of my former teammates, Greg Berhalter, I've got that feeling deep inside of my stomach. Some might describe it as hope. As in, I really hope that we are good, and I really hope that we don't sit back and absorb pressure and let Mexico do whatever the hell they want with the ball, and I really hope that our young guys play and play well so they can continue to play in the future, and I really hope that my prediction of the US winning 2-1 comes true. But also, deep inside of my stomach, I think on this side, I got that other feeling of, what if Mexico kicks our asses when we're putting out a good team? I'm not sure my psyche can handle that, which I think they call dread. So I hope when I'm sitting there, because I'm going to be at the game, that hope wins out over dread. Please, hope, do the business. Por favor, we can do it. Si se puede. Also, if I can get any extra tickets, I'm going to give them to one of you. So follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Jimmy Conrad to see if I can pull it off. And up next, we head to Hamburg for Germany versus Netherlands as they battle it out to qualify for the 2020 Euros, which for the first time since 1976, the host country will not automatically qualify, and that's probably because the Euros are being hosted by 12 different countries this time around. So that makes a lot of sense. Also, just so everyone knows, there are 55 teams separated into 10 groups, and the top 2 in each group will secure their spot to go to the big dance, the big enchilada of the Euros. However, 4 spots will still be left open, which means we get some playoffs, baby! And this is where the UEFA Nations League from last summer comes into play. The top 16 of the teams from that competition that haven't already qualified for the Euros will be put into 4 groups based on their seeding. The number 1 seed of each group will play the number 4 seed, and number 2 will play number 3 over 2 legs, and the winners of those group semifinals will play a one-off final, and the winner of each group final will qualify for the Euros. Does that sound confusing? It should, because it kind of is. And this is where the Germany-Netherlands game really matters, because neither one of these countries is leading their group. Northern Ireland is currently on top with 12 points. Germany are on 9 but have played 1 less game. And the Dutch are on 3 but have played 2 less games than the Northern Irish. But still, if the Germans can win, which could be a tall order since they have so many injuries, most notably to their back four, they could create some distance from the pressure of having the Dutch right on their heels, which would be great for them, of course, but it would absolutely suck for the Dutch, who, for all of the hype that their individual players deservedly get, it doesn't always translate into cohesive performances for their national team. But this is as must-win of a game as it gets, and I really feel like this generation of Dutch players really wants to put their stamp on things, so I think they're going to be up for it, and I think they're going to play well. But even though the German back four looks relatively unproven at the international level, they still have one of the world's best goalkeepers behind them in Captain Manuel Neuer, and some dynamite players going forward, especially the red-hot Timo Werner leading the attack, so I think we might have my favorite scoreline in this one, 2-2. And keeping it on this Euro qualifying theme, let's talk some England versus Bulgaria, because England, who, let's be honest, are in a pretty easy group with Czech Republic, Kosovo, Montenegro, and Bulgaria, still have to go out there and do the work, something that they maybe didn't do in the past because they would play to the level of their competition. But not this time around. This crop of players, they've done it with total class, scoring 10 goals and only conceding 1 in their first 2 group games, including a 5-0 ass-kicking of the Czech Republic. So I know they're going to beat Bulgaria, which means I'm less interested in the scoreline and more interested in how they play and how they incorporate players who could be getting their first cap for the national team, like Mason Mount and James Maddison. And I want to see the continued development of Jadon Sancho and Trent Alexander-Arnold at the international level. And if you look at it, the future looks really, really bright for the Three Lions, so I'm eager to see how they continue to perform, especially with their younger players leading the charge. And now we head to Scandinavia to talk some Sweden versus Norway, which sees the Swedes currently in second in Group F on 7 points after 4 games, 5 points behind group leader Spain, while Norway are in fourth on 5 points. So this one has some juice on it, and I love those types of games. However, because of how both of these countries both played in the UEFA Nations League, they have an automatic spot in the playoffs, which I consider to be a get-out-of-jail-free card in case they shit the bed in the group stages. Anyway, Sweden is better and have been for a while, so I'd like them to get the result here, especially at home. So let's say 2-1. And then I'll be keeping my eyes on Scotland, because these next 2 games are going to determine their fate in their group as they face second-place Russia at Hampton Park, where I played once, by the way. We drew 1-1. And I thought that was a pretty fair result, all things considered. Great experience. And where Scotland take on group leaders Belgium a few days later. However, fun fact, Belgium beat them 3-0 a few months ago, so Scotland have a lot of work to do. And also another fun fact, Russia have scored 14 goals and conceded 0 in their last 3 matches. So despite Scotland winning their last 5 competitive matches at home, and with the return of Ryan Fraser from injury and the recalls of Robert Snodgrass and Stephen Naismith to go along with Captain Andy Robertson, who is a Liverpool hero, which will make the Scots more formidable, right? They're going to be harder to break down and tougher to play against. I just don't see them getting the 3 points against either country. However, just like Sweden and Norway, Scotland have qualified for the playoffs through the Nations League, so their Euro hopes won't be over yet if that happens. And finally, I'm going to have these things peeled on Chile versus Argentina. Argentina. And yes, I know there's nothing on this game, that it's just a meaningless friendly. That is, if you think games between these 2 countries specifically are ever meaningless, which I do not believe that to be true. However, with that said, since this game is not for anything important, we should get a good look at their future as they roll out their younger players. Like 23-year-old Chilean Ignacio Geraldinho, gotta love those Iños that are out there, who's been lighting it up in the Chilean league this season, scoring 10 goals in 19 games so far this season, and 20-year-old Argentine center back Leonardo Balerdi, who is yet to play for Borussia Dortmund's first team, but the hype is so real around this guy, he might get his first cap before he makes his first senior appearance for the black and yellow, and I love that. I love when young guys get a chance to prove themselves. Anyway, that's it. That is all I got. So predict the right score for Germany versus Netherlands. And if you get it exactly right, you'll be entered to win some Warm Baller stickers. I can't give them to everybody if it's a score that everybody correctly predicts. I can only pick 5 winners. Maybe only 1 if the score is big. Maybe it'll be Mark Mafori again. I don't know. So good luck. That's what I do want to say. And then for me, please have a good or bad weekend, everyone. Later.